Hello there. Today's episode is very special to me because I connected with someone who I look up to. I did have an opportunity to collaborate with her a few months ago. Unfortunately, it did not happen, but I am dying to collaborate with her sometime soon. She's none other than Janani Purkodi. He's the founder of Mystique Gifts. Um, this entire 1 hour long conversation is definitely going to be helpful for you if you're planning to enter into the journey of founding something, doing something of your own. Definitely watch this. She has some amazing recommendations and what sort of a mindset you should acquire as a founder. Two, understanding the whole ecosystem of corporate gifting, how it functions, how corporates are looking for it, and what Mystique gifts stand for. And the idea of merging corporate gifting with sustainability is another thing that, very interesting, that to basically like know about how sustainability can be um, incorporated into this industry. And the vendor selection that she does and the products that she bring to the companies, so that it's not just the Mystique gifts that are functioning with purpose and responsibility, but also gives the corporates a great chance to basically embody or represent the whole concept of sustainability, which is amazing. um, and definitely more thoughts into how employers can still utilize these gifting as a whole space to market themselves, where they can showcase their value, where they can be the talk of a small group gathering or something with the products that you gift. And of course something called concept based gifting, which is their USP, Mystic Gifts USP. And also about building team and outsourcing and lot of things around it. She comes from engineering background and she's moved into product management and now a founder. And once a techie is always a techie, and she also has a plan to basically take certain things, um, technically, or use technology to basically like scale all these efforts, because in general corporate gifting as such is a lot of operational heavy industry. So you can listen to all of this and do let us know what you learned from this conversation, from this podcast. And if you have any questions, do share them in comments. If you have any interesting topic that you want me to basically like bring that in the podcast episodes, in the further episodes, please do let me know. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Your support means a lot to me. Without skipping, please do watch the video further. Hi, Jenny. Hello. Welcome to Podcast with Varu. How have you been?
Hey Varu, thank you so much for having me. And yeah, I'm doing great. Been quite a challenging, times, especially after the Diwali. I'll tell you more about how all that went. But yeah,
Yeah.
right now in a good state.
Awesome. I mean, let's start there. But yeah, before that, I would really, really like to tell a few things to people who are watching. Is that we connected on LinkedIn, and the first time we met till now, it's been a great pleasure for me to connect with you, because at I mean, like, LinkedIn personality, as I see the things that you say, the things that you share, and as a person, when I met you, nothing seemed to have changed. Like, you are the same person, the same humility, the same thoughts, and you've always been 5 steps ahead. Like, it's very hard, to be very honest, in Chennai. To see someone like that is really very hard. And I am so glad that, the first conversation struck really well, and we are still able to continue the conversation today here.
Yeah, thanks so much for being so nice to me.
No, no, that's the reality. And before we talk about gifting, I would really like to understand the story behind your journey, how Mystic happened, what inspired you to basically like get started with this whole concept of being sustainable in the gifting space.
Sure. I'm so happy to be sharing my story here. So, as you said, I'm an engineer who graduated and went on to work with a startup. And I started off my career as a web developer. Coding was something that was very, very interesting to me. So, right from the college, I was very, very interested in coding. I used to, do a lot of things. Even in labs, I used to, get things done first and be very happy with that. So coding was something that really kept me very interested right from the beginning. So that is how I started my career, and I was working on multiple technologies, on open source technologies during the start of my career, and I moved on to a couple of other roles. And while doing that, I found that I was more interested in doing products. Right, so I was working as a product come project lead for a couple of products where in one of my previous companies, and I thought I have a lot of interest in that, and maybe I decided I should take my career forward in that path. And that is when I wanted to transition into full time product management. And started off working for PayPal as a technical product manager for a couple of years, and everything was going really well. Really good paycheck, really good vacations, a lot of fun, and things was going like that. But I always had the I wanted to start out something on my own. So right out of college, me and my friend, we started out on a venture where we were, doing a couple of things. So that actually got me very interested at the beginning, but for multiple reasons, we couldn't pursue that further. But I thought, while working in PayPal, sometimes when you have everything is when you want, what is next, what is something more that we want, right? Because when you are always in need of something, then you are first looking at getting that thing done, right? So always, okay, what is the immediate next step? But then at a point when you have everything, then that is when you are more curious to go after other things. So I thought maybe it's now or never. Let's just give it a shot. What's the worst that could happen, right? And I decided to give it a shot, and I quit my job in PayPal, and I was actually exploring a couple of things to get started with, multiple things that I was starting with. um, so one thing that I initially started was a D2C brand, and the D2C brand was a good success, but we kind of closed it out because that is what led me to do what I'm doing today. Right. See, sometimes when we think we started something on a different note, but then it didn't go as planned, maybe we should give up and things like that. But you never know what leads to the next thing, right? One thing always leads to something better. Only if you start doing something, you can even get to somewhere. Right. If you just keep thinking, okay, should I, probably you would never end up doing it, right? So that is how we started the D2C brand. And the D2C brand, I was actually building a product where we were actually selling, e-commerce brand where we were selling cups and mugs, all drinkware products. So that is basically my area of interest. I am really a very, very, a big time cup collector. So I have a huge array of cups at my house. And so I thought, this is like something is our area of interest. Why don't we start a e-commerce brand out of that? And that is how I started my brand called Berry Cups. And we were running it for about 6 to 8 months. And one place where we wanted to place cups and mugs in the B2B aspect was corporate gifting. Right, in a lot of corporate gifting, cups and mugs are a good add-on. So when we were exploring opportunities of adding our products as part of corporate hampers, and we thought, well, when we approached our clients, it was like, we don't do only cups, we generally do it as a hamper. So, why don't you do it as a hamper for us? And that is how it actually started. Right. So when there was a requirement, we started doing hampers along with our cups for a couple of clients, and that kind of took off, right? And we were getting more orders on different aspects in terms of gifting, and we thought, this is quite prospective. Actually, corporate gifting has a lot of potential, right? It's quite huge, it's very, very vast. There are so many avenues for us to explore. So we thought, this is kind of going in the right direction. Let us give all our energy for this, and then probably we'll come back to berry cups at a later point. And I kind of paused that business and started taking up this full time. And yeah, it has been a journey ever since. We started out full time from I mean, when I say we, it is like me, my co-founder, my brand, all of that together. So we started out full time from October. I quit my job 2023 September, and from October I started doing this full time. We registered our company Mystique Gives in January, and yeah, it's like about a year right now, and the journey has been incredible. We've got to work with some of the amazing clients like Infosys and NASCOM, and yeah, it has been quite a journey. Coming to the sustainability part, right? So I have this basic urge to always, don't use plastic. So that has been something that I've been trying to follow myself in wherever it is possible. See, I can't say like, I'm going to go 100% without plastic, but that's not because that's not practically possible. But wherever possible, we try to follow that thing. And I wanted that to get conveyed in my business as well. Like whatever business I do, I want to make sure we are at least a bit conscious about what we're doing and not do things, very unconsciously and just for the sake of getting things done. So that is when we started doing the gifting part also. We were conscious about not including plastic or anything that is not very eco-friendly in our hampers. Just it doesn't mean that we do only 100% eco-friendly hampers, because for multiple reasons, complete eco-friendly hampers are, the options are quite less. There are only certain things that can be done that way. So it is a mix, but at least we try to avoid plastic as much as possible, especially when we are doing these birthday gifts for kids, right? If you see these days, birthday gifts, a lot of people give toys which is purely plastic. Right. See, it could be probably for economical reasons also, but there are a lot of other alternatives that people can still explore in terms of gifting. Give something more meaningful instead of, just doing things for the sake of doing. So yeah, so my own principles that I had kind of translated into business also, and we've been trying to follow that as much as possible.
This is very awesome. Like, I've been noting you're one of the guests where I took my notepad and then, I kept noting because there are so many interesting things that you said, and a lot of things resonate with me so well. Is mainly because you said something that really hit me, which is when you have everything, you basically are very curious about what's that we want always want to do more, right? And I am in the stage where I want to do more. And what's that? Figuring that out is very, very important. And also, like many of us, like, just because we are all like, we've always been at some point of time either corporate slaves or something or the other. We work 9 to 5, same routine and stuff like that. Many of us think that, hey, I really want to do something of my own because I feel that there is a potential. Many cannot do that mainly because of personal reasons, financial reasons, or whatever that is. But you did it, like you basically like did it like really well. I see a lot of people encouraging something, like just quit what you do and then get started. But it's not the case with you. You've been like, you are working with a company, you try to understand the demand, you started something that you really like, and then you saw an opportunity. After you see the opportunity, you're just moving. I wouldn't say that is like, that is exactly what you should be doing, because the market is extremely volatile. You don't know how things happen. Suddenly some COVID comes, something happens, recession, inflation, whatnot, right? So this is something that everyone must take note. And the other things that you said, drinkware, right? I wouldn't say I'm a big collector of drinkware, but I'm so fascinated by getting, like, about getting new mugs. And even this recently Stanley, as a brand, I did not know that even existed. But I think, I don't know, thanks to TikTok or that culture of having the mugs that you drink. You see everyone carrying it. Like when I go to the gym, I see random many people buying it and doing things like that. I think right now drinkware is becoming like that, looking that is good or something. It's becoming a hot topic, but I think you started like way beyond it became a hot topic. I think you definitely should consider restarting it. I'll be your customer, and I'll definitely tell my company also, like to see if we can get into such drinkwares and things like that.
So a couple of things. Yeah, definitely I would want to restart. So I never, I mean, I don't want to close out Berry Cups completely. I definitely want to restart it at that point. At least that's my personal favorite project, right? Because
Yeah.
So when I was working on berry cups, just sitting up all night and looking at the kind of mugs that are available on the market just keeps me like, wow, what are you people, so much options, so pretty, like especially right when you're working on a on working on something that you have personal interest on, then it's like takes it to an all together new level, right? Because I have personal interest in that product, so wherever I go, if I find a really pretty looking mug, I just grab it, right? And so that way I'm just looking, exploring different products, what I can add to my e-commerce platform and all that. And I'm like so excited to just even look up at the line of products that are actually available in market. And it's huge, you have no clue, it's so huge. Only
Yes.
after I got into it, see, when we talk about mugs, it's not just the ceramic mugs, right? So
Yeah.
drinkware as such is actually quite a huge market.
Yeah.
And just to give you an idea, just the glassware market, right? Just the glassware products, especially the drinking glassware products, is alone a 40,000 crore market in India.
Wow.
Right, and this information is from trusted source, like it's from Borosel. So we got this information from a article published by Borosel, and that huge the market is. So yeah, sometime I'm definitely getting back to berry cups. And one more point about how like what you were mentioning, yeah. So there are all of these pressures when we work in like full time, and then again comparing it to entrepreneurship. Of course, entrepreneurship is very glamorous these days, but the struggle is extremely real, right?
Yeah.
So I just jokingly tell to my friends, when you're working in a company, you can just take 2 or 3 days or even 2 weeks off, just be shut down, leave your office laptop at the office, and just be away for a whole new while and come back, right? But that is not the case when you are being an entrepreneur. Sometimes every other time you have to be available, especially when you're starting up. Later stage, definitely you come up with your own priorities and things like that, but when you're starting up, uh, you have to be like up all round the clock, right? Anytime there is work, you have to be available. So yeah, it is quite challenging. And so I think, personally, I feel that whatever you want to do is something that you'll have to do. So there is nothing wrong in being in a 9 to 5 job as compared to being in an entrepreneurship. Because if that is what I want, probably I want to prioritize family. I am okay with working till whatever I can, make enough money, and then have a nice calm life. Then of course 9 to 5 job is like the best thing to do, right? But then if you want like a whole lot of roller coaster and a challenge in life, then yeah, entrepreneurship is the way forward. But yeah, I mean, there's no pressure in doing anything. But unless you really want to do something, I would never recommend you taking up something and forcing yourself because everybody's doing. So yeah, that is not the case.
Since you brought this topic about this pressure and I mean, there is no concept called work life balance existing for an entrepreneur. Recently I've been following a few founders on Instagram where I see them focusing on fitness. Like, I've worked with, all my life I've very closely worked with founders, especially like early stage or startups and things like that. One thing that really concerned me, or still concerning me, is the lack of time that they have and the kind of pressure they are subjected to. They are forced to work so much, and it often creates an imbalance in their physical ecosystem as well. Like, I've seen someone who get into the entrepreneurship, with all that, so much of energy and things like that, but either they are getting subjected to, they put on weight, they're mentally so exhausted. And if you see, it is all because of the stress that they go through, nothing else. And obviously the erratic pattern that they have when it comes to eating food. And sometimes, they want to eat something, on the way they grab something that is like salty, oily. And right now I see a lot of founders trying to break that. Like, probably I think, I don't know, because of the internet or Dr. Pal era or something. I keep, Dr. Pal has like a great influence in my life, as well, and so many other people. But as a founder, how do you balance this? Your I know that it's no definitive way, but how do you manage both your mental and physical health along with this journey?
Um, I try to. I won't say I am I am still there. So if I have to again recall the Diwali season was crazy, right? Especially in our line of business, there is a lot of dependency, external dependency, right? We have to work with a lot of different vendors, and vendor is one part, but then the shipping is a whole together new thing, right? We have to place order, get everything on time, pack everything, and send everything on time. It's a very very time bound work, right? See, sometimes you might be okay to put in the time. You just, I can pull in an all nighter and get things done. If you're, say, you're working in an IT, you're working on a software, you can, if there's a deadline, you just put an all nighter, get things done. But that is not the case with us, right? Sometimes we can only start the work after we get all the products, right? And I
Yeah.
am like sitting and looking at the courier, okay, when is it coming? When is it coming? When is it coming? Like, so it's a lot of pressure. So I have broken down a couple of times during the season. So all that happens, there's like nothing to, shy away with, because all of us do go through that. But after the season was done, so we had a plan. Okay, we should take a break, at least a couple of days, completely shut off ourselves. Otherwise, we won't be able to get back on track, right? So we definitely did that. So as a team, post Diwali, we just took a couple of days off, tried to come back to normalcy, and then restart the work. But even otherwise, on a regular basis, I try to do a couple of things that kind of helps me right now. One is whenever I get time, at least in the morning, which I try to make it as a practice, I am trying to journal. More than journaling, it is like, at least I just write down whatever comes to my mind, what I think I should probably do better, what I should, maybe I could have done, a little more better. Things like that I write, maybe self affirmations, all of those I kind of keep writing for a while, because that kinds of helps me immerse in the moment. I really enjoy writing, right? And that kinds of helps me immerse in the moment and forget everything around me, at least my phone for sure. So I just try to keep
Oh
the
yeah.
phone away,
Yeah.
to make it even more nicer. Sometimes I even play some nice meditation music at the background and then sit and write. So though it might not be for an hour or so, at least at 10-15 minutes, I try to do that. It definitely relaxes me. And whenever possible, at least 3 to 4 times a week, I do have a group of friends where we all go to shuttle badminton together. So that is a really, really good time where we try to just shut off everything and just focus there, and some kind of a physical activity. Otherwise, there's zero physical activity that I do. So only kind of activities is something like this. So I think everybody should get engaged in some kind of activities like this, because see, the pressure that an entrepreneur takes is a lot of times the pressure that they take on themselves, right? If
Very.
you're working in a company, then probably the manager is putting pressure on you to get things done. But that's not the case here. I have my own goals, I have my priorities, I want to get these things done. So all these pressures are something that I created for myself, right? Now, say tomorrow I want to say, I'm just going to take a break, I'm just going to shut off everything and just be there. That is something I can definitely do, right? Because I have entire control of that. But that is not something that I want to do, because there are so many things for me to achieve, there are so much goals that I have for myself. So this is self pressure. So the beauty of about self pressure, it is kind of good, right? Because
Good reminder.
you reminder, and it's like something that you enjoy doing, right? Because this is something that you're doing for yourself. So I keep telling this to my friends also. The best kind of goals are the ones that you set for your own self, right? And not the ones that comes from external pressure. Like, a lot of times in a lot of family, there's this pressure of, okay, you have to buy a house, you have to have a kid, and so much external pressure, and people kind of come to that, right? But then if I have my own goal, like, okay, I need to buy this car, then the kind of work that I put in to buy that car is going to be totally different than it coming from external pressure, right? So I have my own goals, so I definitely enjoy working towards that. And there's a lot more to do. But yeah, at the same time, as you said, health is something that we need to definitely take care, because if health is gone, then everything else becomes a huge problem, right? So
Totally.
that is something that I prioritize whenever I get. It's not like I have like a pattern or something, but whenever possible, I try to follow as much as possible.
Thanks for being candid about what you've been doing, and like you said, activity is something very important, not just physical health wise, mentally as well. Like, you get a little time away from what you do, so probably the way you think can be like totally different, or your energy boosts and you're more productive and things like that. I also want to ask this question, since you mentioned that you sometimes break down, and I think it's a very human thing, irrespective of you being like entrepreneur or not. But most of the cases, like you said, right, like Entrepreneur basically, I might be wrong, but there can be other founders who are doing it as well. Whether it's LinkedIn or Instagram or Twitter, wherever it is, most of the cases we see is the bright side of their life. That is, they won, their success story, this. Even when they share anything, anything around failure, it always ends like, in any movie that you see, it ends with a happy ending. It always has a happy ending or a story associated with it. Do you think it's okay, or is the founder again like will be subjected to criticism when they share, if they are being very candid about breaking down, stumbling here and there a bit? Because we're all humans. It just doesn't mean you're a founder, doesn't mean that you're like in a place where you can't break down, you can't do this or something. But in reality, are they really put into that place, do you think?
So let me give you one example. So say we all, a lot of us go and watch movies, right?
Yeah.
At least personally, I like to watch movies that are all these feel good movies.
Yeah.
Right, because I am going and spending 3 hours again. I don't want to go and sit and cry. But yeah, recently a lot of movies made everybody cry. But want to probably go spend some time, feel good about the rest of the time that we have, right? So similarly, now there are a lot of people who put up the good side, the good things that come out of being an entrepreneur and things like that. See, everybody knows there are struggles, right? Everybody goes through struggle. There is no denying that, right? But putting those struggles as against putting the victories or things that you've achieved is what actually encourages people. Right, so one, say for example, there are, say, out of the 100% that you share about yourself, say 10% is about maybe the struggles or maybe the journey how you got there. But 90% of the achievements you've got, the achievements is what is going to set us as an example for the rest of the people, and it's going to encourage them. Right, if it's going to be just the struggle and things like that, it's like, okay, same thing is happening to me, people might normalize that. Right, that is
Yeah,
what probably I personally feel. But
makes sense.
different people have different opinions. But when I look at the circle that I have with people on LinkedIn, when they put up a lot of these interesting stories, we all know there's a journey that they've gone through. It's not like on day one they are there and getting all those awards or all the achievements that they're making. So you have to, the struggle is implicit, you need to understand that. But then even going through all that, where they are right now, the kind of recognition that they get is what you have to take as an encouragement and probably follow. That is what I feel. But yeah, it is okay to share once in a while the breakdown stories. I think it's getting more common these days. People are being more vocal, and they are talking about that also, maybe for good reasons. But I feel the good stories that we see in LinkedIn is definitely a huge is a huge encouragement for the rest of the people. And if you think, or if somebody as an audience think that this is the only thing that's happening to them, then probably that they are fooling themselves. Because everybody who's doing something, there is a lot of struggle that goes inside, and you have to understand that and be happy for the happy things that they share.
Completely agree. Completely agree. And I do agree that there's so enough of pressure and tension in my life that I don't want to see another sob story or something out there. So I agree with you. So coming back to this thing where you mentioned that, that when you started out this drinkware, it slid in a way that companies basically wanted hamper and things like that. And that's how Mystique happened, right? Um, First client happened like that, but I know this industry as such, like you said, as much as there is potential, there's also like competition that we keep seeing in this industry, myself, because for the past few years I've been exposed to working with a couple of corporate gifting companies, small, big, or whatever it is, right? So how did you land succeeding other clients? What was the struggle, or what was the challenge, or how differently did you do something to basically like get customers in and keep the ball rolling?
It was purely referral and word of mouth at the initial stages, right? So after we started the initial, all the hampers that we got were completely through referrals, and some good people putting us through to some of the good people who helped us get those orders, right? So that is how it started. So I'm definitely grateful for all of those people who referred and helped us to kickstart the journey at initial stage. Because initially when we started the company, we did a huge order for NASCOM. So NASCOM, is quite popular with all the IT folks, and our main focus clients is also IT. So when we landed a client like NASCOM at the initial stage, whenever we go and pitch to some other client, so having NASCOM as one of our clients was a very, very, put us in a good state with them. Oh, okay, you've done the hampers for NASCOM. And it's not like a small hamper. We did a really huge hamper for them. We did like 4,000 hampers for NASCOM when we started off, right? So that gave us the initial push that we needed in terms of, okay, this team can pull off these large numbers, this team can work with larger clients. So that kind of confidence it gave, and we were able to get multiple other clients through that. And one of the thing is LinkedIn was very, very helpful for me, right? So I had been quite active on LinkedIn right from the beginning. After, I mean, I used to write even previously, but after I started entrepreneurship full time and Mystique and all that, I started giving more time for LinkedIn and trying to be more active. And I've got a lot of leads through LinkedIn, right? Some very, very good clients I got through LinkedIn, or people I already know also kind of came to know what I'm doing currently through LinkedIn. And they kind of started, at least referring me within their company or to their friends and things like that. So LinkedIn has been very, very helpful. So wherever I go, I keep telling that, right? If you are starting off a company, or if you're doing freelancing, or you're looking to take additional projects, then there's nothing like LinkedIn. And that's like the best platform you can be. And it's not only about outbound where you go and reach out to people. You start creating content, then you don't even have to reach out, right? You will keep getting leads through that. Inbound will be really good if you start creating good content on LinkedIn. So yeah, LinkedIn is really, really must for anybody who's starting out. So that is something that I would say. And one thing that we try to differentiate ourselves is a couple of points. One is trying to be eco-friendly as much as possible, and we try to increase our range of offerings in terms of eco-friendly products, trying to experiment with new products and things like that. So that actually gave us an edge, because a lot of companies these days want to move towards eco-friendly and sustainable gifts, right? So that gave us an edge, and we were able to position ourselves better there. And the other one is making more concept oriented gifting, and not just normal, see, there are a lot of out of the shelf gift hampers that are available in the market. But what we try to do is we curate hampers based on the requirement. So, okay, if it's a Diwali hamper, like who is it given to? Is it given to a client, or is it given to an
Hmm.
employee? What is the budget? What is the timeline? We try to understand a lot of these, and then we curate hampers based on that, right? So that kind of added more meaning to the kind of hampers we did. And it turned out to be very, very beautiful hampers also. So I really enjoy packing these gifts and making sure it's all aesthetically pretty, and that gave us an edge as well. So we are kind of that is what we want to be doing long term also, right? Focus more on eco-friendly, and also more on concept oriented gifting is something that we want to be doing. And so this is something that we are trying out. We are not completely there, but I would personally want to work with a lot of homegrown brands and women-led brands. So that is something that I am really interested in. So recently we have been working with so there's a government initiative called Tea and Rice, so where they help put out products that are done by women from rural parts of Tamil Nadu. So there are very, very beautiful products that they have had. A lot of handmade products. A lot of them are also eco-friendly. So we have been trying to work along with them and suggest those hampers also to a couple of our clients. So yeah, so that is something that I want to be doing more of.
This is very interesting. Like they're talking about homegrown brands or women-led brands, and now that we see, not just talking about the rural part of Tamil Nadu, but also women who are getting into this Instagram side of it, be it clothing, be it home decor, be it anything for that matter. It's an amazing space to venture into, and it's so nice to to basically like see someone associating with these people. Have you ever thought of I did see that in LinkedIn that you're part of multiple communities, women in product and things like that. Have you ever thought of building a community of sorts for these homegrown brands or women entrepreneurs or something, like from the side of Mystique ever?
Not as a community as such separately, which I want to build, but I definitely want to see there are a lot of these communities out there already. So what I want to be doing is working along with these communities and see how much of those products can be included as part of a hamper. So that is something that we definitely want to be associated with these communities. But starting a community as such is maybe is not in cards right now, but definitely looking to work with a lot of these products. See, the whole beauty about working with women-led brands or small businesses, right? So they are very conscious in what they do. So it's not like a factory-made product, right? Just
Yeah.
lines after lines, you just run product after product. So every product is actually done with a lot of care, and they make sure every product comes out really well. Everything is hand-picked, very, very conscious, environmental friendly. So there are a lot of advantages to these kind of products. That is especially why I like to work with women-led brands. A lot of women-led brands have a really good cause why they're doing it. So one such brand that we worked very closely this Diwali was a brand called Tinay Organics. So they do a lot of organic products. So their focus is only on organic products, and so we were associated with them, especially this Diwali for sweets. So we wanted to position more organic sweets because generally Diwali time there are a lot of sweets that are being circulated and shared, right? And also a lot of chocolates.
Yeah.
So especially chocolates like from foreign brands and things like that. We wanted to see how we can replace that and bring in more organic products into the scene, and we did do it for a good number of clients this season. Replacing their usual sugar based sweets or chocolates with the organic sweets, which is not like using white sugar also. So some clients were welcoming, even though the price point for organics is a bit more than the regular
Yeah.
products, because normal white sugar compared to any palm sugar, it's like 10x the difference is cost difference wise. Right. So clients were welcoming sometimes because they are also more conscious about what they want to give their employees or their own clients, right? So
Yeah.
that, and the main reason the person who started the brand started is because so she wanted to make sure that she gives her own kids only good and organic products, because the market is all flooded with chemical based products, right?
True.
That is how the whole brand started. I know a lot of other women founders who are working in this kind of in this line of work have started the business because they are not able to find good products outside, right? And always there's a cost why they have started. So I really love working with this kind of women, and my request is a lot more companies should be okay
Open.
and open to getting these kind of products for their clients and employees, instead of just giving off the shelf product.
Yeah, I mean, I recently I don't know if I can completely call it organic, because at the end of the day, it's like a commercial thing where I usually like purchase sweets from Aladi Patian Karpati
Mm.
coffee. One of the things that I noticed, and there's a huge difference between other players, is that, I mean, I can imagine how impressive it will be when it is homemade, right? Like the quality of the sweet, right? Like the ghee that they use and replacing sugar with karupati is like one amazing thing that they, and it's not too sweet.
Mm.
uh, and you also like, even if you take another piece, you
Mm.
don't feel so guilty, even though it is sugar, we all know that, but you
Right.
don't feel guilty because you know that there is quality in it. I think people are slowly moving towards the quality and prioritizing that over money, because we think I'm saving 30 rupees over there, but you end up spending more in hospital. I mean, I would not do that.
True, totally true. Yeah.
Couple of other things that interested me when you talked about the edge that you have as in the corporate gifting side. One is the concept based gifting,
Mm.
right? This is the first time I'm hearing, because probably I'm new to this whole industry or space. um how did you basically like think that, because I do remember where, before, it's like they already have like a hamper, and I have an option to choose from a hamper A, hamper B, hamper C. And many a times I felt that, especially like, sometimes I've seen people gifting collection of teas along with a tea kettle and stuff like that, and they have like a very fixed hamper or something. Is it because of that, you thought concept based gifting is going to be creating some sort of interest, or was it like totally different?
So let me give you two examples. So one is that we are focusing is the onboarding kit. See, if you see
Okay.
currently the onboarding kit that companies give to their employees, so there's a format, right?
Yeah.
Generally, you have a bag, you have a water bottle, you have a notebook, you have a pen, and maybe a couple of other products based on the budget that is available. And this is kind of similar in multiple places. And generally, the way it works is you buy all of these products, put your brand logo, and give it to the employees. So that is
Yeah.
how it has been currently. What we personally feel, branding is more than just adding your logo. right? Just putting a
Yeah.
logo on a product is not branding, it's just logoing. So we wanted to see how we can change that a bit and make whatever products we give little more interesting. Right,
Hmm.
just to give you an example, when we say, see, water bottle, notebook, and pen is kind of necessary also when you're going into a new office. So we can't completely avoid that because there's also utility in it. But we try to make it a little more interesting. Like one example is in the water bottle, right? See, water bottle has a lot of real estate where you can put in a lot of interesting facts about the company, right? So instead of just putting the logo, we created a whole new graphic about the company based on their own values or the branding system and everything, and create a really graphically pretty looking water bottle. And what happens is when you take that water bottle outside, it becomes like a talking point. Wow, really? Instead of taking a normal water bottle, you take a very interesting water bottle. People are going to ask it, what is it all about? And that's free marketing. So why do companies give all these branded products? It's all pure marketing, right? So that is how we want to create it. Even if you give notebooks, we want to be having the entire notebook nicely designed, have some pages in between that talks a little more about the company and things like that. Add a couple of pages where you give some coloring options for the people, which is kind of relaxing when you want to take a small gap from work. So those kind of things we are trying to incorporate in onboarding kits. So just make it more concept. When I say concept in onboarding kit, especially, it is about bringing the company's values as part of the onboarding kit and not just adding the logo. That is one thing in terms of onboarding kit. And the other one in terms of gifting. Say, I'll give you one example here. So we were working with a client who wanted to give gift hampers as an housewarming whenever. So it's a real estate company. So they wanted to give a housewarming gift whenever somebody buys a flat or a plot from them, right? And currently, what they've been doing is they've been giving water bottle and notebook. So it has no connection, right? So what we had suggested, we had come up with a different kinds of concepts. So one was like a, see, we have nice fancy names for all of these hampers. So one was like a something related to the kitchen. So all the products that were there as part of the hamper were all related to kitchen. Like one example is having a cutting board, but then a cutting board with a nice engraving about the, some nice words, the logo and things like that. So all of these products are completely usable in the kitchen. And then we suggested another gardening set. So again, we have a nice name for that. But this product, all the products that are related to having a nice family time sitting out in the garden, having a good tea and things associated with that. So that way, so the way we want to create these hampers are making it more relatable. So and everything in the hamper should be usable also.
Yeah.
See, a lot of times we just give for the name's sake of giving. We don't want to do that. Even if we add a small thing, it has to be usable by the people who are receiving it, is something that we try to take.
So this is very interesting. The kitchen part, and now I understand what you meant by concept based gifting. Got it. And this thing that you mentioned, where you are, you're trying to work with women led founders, women coming from rural areas, and they're handmade products and stuff like that, right? um, how do you basically like source them apart from the TN community and things like that, A? And B, as much as we understand that working with them means they're very conscious and you're able to do something meaningful, there's also logistic challenges that we will face in terms of delivering, and I don't know how great support system they have as well, right? So how do you basically tackle all of this and identify, okay, this is the person that I want to work with?
So couple of things is, one is through communities, as you said, that is how we identify people. And the second is Instagram. See, Instagram is a huge source of finding these kind of brands, right? So we have a whole database of a lot of these pages that do a lot of very interesting products, and wherever we are able to fit them in, we fit them in our hampers, right? Because most of these brands are only available through Instagram, so they will not have a website, they will not be anywhere else, but they will be on Instagram. Because these days, even if you have the slightest idea of starting a business, first thing that you do is create an Instagram page. Only then you decide what business also you need to do, right? So that way, we are able to identify a lot of interesting brands to work with through Instagram. And the way we start working with them is, first, I usually we get some samples, make sure it is according to the standards that we have, how it is packed. We kind of test all of that. Only then we start including them in hampers. And even when including in hampers, we start off with hampers that have low quantity. Now, say we are working on a hamper, there is only 25 count. So maybe we start off there, and then we will kind of know how they function, what is the capacity, and all of that. And based on that, we will be including them in additional hampers. So it's a process. Like, we don't directly include them, because then it's like, as you say, delivery becomes a problem. This is very operationally intensive business, right? So we take it step by step, and once we know the brands that are able to work at scale, and they're able to deliver on time, then we kind of bring them in on larger orders.
Got it. Another question that I had was around this, which is when you mentioned that you curate the hamper and basically, like, based on the company's inquiry requirement and stuff like that. In that case, as much, like, again, it's very customizable, it's very handpicked, companies do love it, and you also find, like, you're able to, like, match, like, requirement plus also have an edge. Again, there's a challenge over there, right? Like, for example, that every company has a different requirement, they have different things to basically, like, push forward as a company. Isn't it very exhausting to basically, like, you might have to look for a different artisan or a different homegrown brand for that when the requirement is new? And also, like, since you've already worked with someone, there's, like, a chance that they might not get another business from you because a different company. So, like, this light again, like, there's an imbalance in the overall ecosystem. How do you again manage this part of it?
See, what you said is totally true, right? We do try to repeat wherever possible, but then if the client's requirement is something new, then that is something that we'll definitely have to take up. We have a good purchase team that kind of takes care of all the procurement for us, so that way we are safe. So our purchase team is actually outsourced. So
Okay.
whatever kind of products we require, we just tell them, they will be able to source it for us, right? So the way we are building the team is, we are keeping only the core team in house, and trying to and we have kind of outsourced all the other team. The purchase team is outsourced, the design team is outsourced. So that way we are able to concentrate on the curation part, right? So what we essentially have to do is what we are focusing on, because our in-house team is mainly about client management, about hamper curation. So whatever is our core, that is what our in-house team is. So once we decide this is what we want, we kind of get it sourced to our sourcing team. So that way is that it has been a little more easier for us to manage things. But see, definitely it is very challenging, because every time there are something new products, like totally out of the box products, sometimes we were able to get those products for a client, sometimes we were not able to get because of the timeline, because of the cost and things like that. So all of that happens, but it is also very interesting, because this is a line of work that we love to do.
By any chance, do you also have, like, a catalog of sorts that you share, that these are the, like, say, for example, um, usually when you do the events or something like that, what happens is you basically show that, hey, this is the kind of stage that we've already done. So, do you have, like, a catalog that says, let's say, by category, drinkware, what are the gifts that you've given before, or let's say, the sweets that you talked about for Diwali, what are the gifts that you've given before? So based on category or season, have you, like, curated or a built catalog of sorts where people also think of, like, when you share it with the clients or something, they also think, hey, this is something very interesting, I would really like to reinforce it? Because most of the cases, what happens is, though the requirement is new from their end, they might also not be aware that these are something that you've already had in the system. So do you have a catalog of something of that sort?
So we work more on a brochure basis. So a
Okay,
brochure contains all the projects that we have done previously, and initially that is what we share with our clients, right?
makes
We
sense.
generally don't do a catalog where we have a list of all the products, because it is very, very exhaustive.
I
Right,
understand.
like, see, especially in gifting, it's like A to Z, there are so many products, and having a catalog for all of those is like giving a link to Amazon, right? So it's like just endless. So we generally don't do catalog, because it is very confusing for the clients also to choose what they want. So what we
Hmm.
do is, as I mentioned previously, we try to get the requirement from the client, and we work out on the different options as available, and we share them a curated list, so that it is easy for them also to pick up. Because otherwise, if we give them exhaustive options, it becomes too difficult for them also to find out. Because, say, if say a client wants a water bottle, and then there are some thousand types of water bottle available, right?
Yeah.
We try to understand, okay, what type of water bottle are you looking for? Like, what's the price range? By when do you need it? We try to take all of these. Maybe you need a flask model. We try to take these requirements, and then give a limited set of options that are kind of fits in the requirement, so that it's easier for them to choose also. So we want to make the confusion as less as possible for the client.
Makes sense. More there is more choice, and definitely there's more confusion.
Yes.
Makes a lot of sense. Um, Secondly, you talked about like your outsourcing purchase team, your outsourcing design, and all of it, right? Um, so I can imagine like you're connecting with a decision maker in the client side, and there definitely there's a coordinator who basically coordinates with you on a daily basis. I mean, on a regular basis. There are these teams that you need to basically like communicate with your core team plus vendors, delivery, and whatnot. There are so many stakeholders involved as we speak.
Yep.
How does your typical day look like, and how do you basically like manage all of this when there's like a peak season?
um See, we are a very, very kind of offline business. So, meaning there is not much of tools or anything that we use, right?
Yeah,
Most of the communication that happens these days is through WhatsApp. So, it's either with the client or with the vendor, everybody and anybody, it's only through WhatsApp. Because it's very easy for people also, even for from the client side, it's very easy for them to communicate things over WhatsApp. And it's like quick and I mean, it's very quick turnaround time, right? Emails is generally used only for, probably getting a confirmation mail or sending an invoice. Only for that purpose, email is used, and pretty much everything is through WhatsApp. We used only just one tool called as Trello. It's a project management tool that helps us kind of categorize what are the different projects that we're working on, which is in progress, what stage it is, and what's in pipeline and what stage it is. So that way we all know which is where. So every day morning starts with first looking at Trello, then finding out what are the projects that has to be is in line for delivery today, and what kind of things need to be ordered for the upcoming projects. So that way we kind of keep things organized. So mostly that is how the day starts, with planning the day out and then making sure the team has things to take care of. And for me, it is personally a lot of client calls. More than client calls, is more like prospect calls. Reaching
yeah,
out to more people for the upcoming projects, and that is how it is. And I try to generally meet with a lot of people in person. So that is something that I really enjoy. I think that is how we also started to
yeah,
talk,
yeah.
right? So that is something that I do, whether it's for business or not. I try to connect with a lot of people in the industry, try to catch up with them once in a while, so that building a good relationship and all that. So that is something that I really enjoy doing. So that is how typically the work is. So Trello has been very helpful for us, because that keeps us help organize everything on where things are. So we have designed it in a way that we want, and organized all the projects accordingly, and that has kind of helped us.
Got it. And since you mentioned it's more of offline, and very less tools are involved and things like that. But I can actually like see as you scale, there's definitely going to be a lot of streamlining that needs to happen. And predominantly, communication takes the first place and things like that. Um, I don't know if people are already like started taking help of AI in this particular space. It has become inevitable that we are becoming. I mean, AI is becoming part of our day to day operations across board. So, have do you think that AI has a very huge space, or is there a tool, or do you think that this is where we think in gifting space specifically, AI is going to be like super helpful for us? Where do you think it is, so that it basically brings in, is it because it has to bring in efficiency, scalability, communication help? Where do you think it is?
See, the current line of business, there is definitely issues with scalability, because there are a lot of manual work involved, right? So there is a lot of packing involved, and as you said, it's like, see, packing. There are huge companies that does a lot of packing, but then, as you said, it's all single product or a set of products that they work with. But for us, it's very, very dynamic, and so generally, companies during the peak season, they take a cap on how many projects they can handle, because like beyond a point, it's not like you can take 1 lakh orders and process everything. So it's not
True.
humanly possible, because it's a lot of manual effort involved, right? So probably say my capacity is to handle 10,000 hampers, and they cap. So beyond 10,000, even if they get orders, they wouldn't be able to take it. So that way, there is a cap in how much we can scale in this. um but we do have plans. Yeah, I'm from a tech background, so definitely I want to take things forward in the tech format. So we have already started works for making this entire as a tech enabled platform.
Wow.
So probably I'll tell you more about that in the next call or something like that. But we are in the initial stages of making this tech enabled, and see, that is where the scalability is, right?
True.
But how do we do it? Because again, there is a lot of operational challenges that's still going to be, but at least there are certain parts that we have identified that are solvable by tech. Right now, though everything is manual, some of it can still be made tech enabled. As you said, use AI to automate a few things. So what is that? How are we going to do that? So that is what we initially started the work on. So few months down the line, we might have something more concrete to talk about. But definitely, I see that is a way forward in terms of scalability, in terms of where we want to go, and things like that. But yeah, I'm very, very interested to see how things progress in that way also.
I think we have to do another conversation around this
Mhm.
specifically because I
Yes.
think it seems very interesting as well.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, we talked about inbound, we talked about the outsourcing and all of it. What is that one memorable thing, in this space? Because I'm sure there are a lot of stories that you would come across, not just from the client side of it, even from the people that you're connecting with, the brands that you're connecting with to curate, right? Like you said, there are a lot of women involved. There are a lot of people who are very conscious in doing certain things. Is there like a memorable thing that you would, that kind of impacted you so much, and you felt so good to be in this industry again?
So the shift that we started seeing this Diwali in terms of organic sweets is something that personally made me very happy. Because see, personally, I've been trying to be no sugar for a while now. I mean, I've been a bit on and off, but I'm trying to do that as much as possible. Um, See, when I do something, I wouldn't want to do something to others which I wouldn't do to myself personally. Right. So if I am not taking sugar, I wouldn't want to go around suggesting people to use sugar sweets and all that. So whenever we suggested organic sweets, though it didn't work out for all the clients for multiple reasons, wherever it worked out and wherever we were able to taste that sweets, I really felt happy because we know something good is being transferred. Right, something good is being circulated around. So that was something that I was really happy this whole season. And generally, not just in terms of the product, but one more thing that it generally makes me happy is whenever probably I'm going out for events and talking to people, and when I meet new people, I tell them, my brand name is Mystique, and people, oh, Mystique, I've heard it somewhere. Whenever people tell that, I kind of feel very happy because see, we are a new brand, we are in the B2B space, and it's just like a year since we started. But when I know that there are people who are aware of about the brand, even when I don't know them personally, is something that makes me really happy. Probably we've created some good visibility is something that I keep telling myself. So that is something that really makes me happy.
Nice. And do you only work with companies, since you're based out of Chennai? Do you only work with companies that are based out of Chennai, or like across India, you work with different companies?
So we work actually across the globe. We have worked done
Oh,
projects even in the US, UK, Singapore. We have done projects there as well. So and yeah, in India also we do across India. So it's not like we're constrained only to Chennai.
this is nice. This is nice. And one last thing I would really like to ask you is this. What advice would you like to give fellow founders? Basically, because one thing that I found again on your LinkedIn profile is that build connecting with business that has this value, that prioritizes value, and you also want to prioritize value in the business side of it. Many people say it, and I wouldn't say that they're not doing it, but they are pushed to focus on something else, prioritize something else, and oftentimes this value system seems to be like suffering so much because of that. So what would you like to tell fellow founders? Not necessary that they should be in the same space as you, but how can they strike balance between the value and business as such?
Um, See, if the value is very personal
Yeah.
and if it is something innately from you, then it definitely gets translated into your business, whatever be it. Right. But then if you had acquired that value only for the sake of business, which generally a lot of people do, then it might not get translated as much because it's not something innate, right?
Yeah.
See, I have seen brands, so I'm not sure if you're aware of this brand called Crazy Coconut. Okay, so this person called Arjun who runs this brand, and this is about all kind of products that they do with coconut shell. And the kind of passion in which he does his products, right? It shows how much passion he has on that particular line. So I got a chance a couple of times to talk to him and things like that. And the values or why he's doing what he's doing gets conveyed into the brand so well. And it's very, very interesting to see that kind of brands. Right, so there are a lot of other, like similarly the Thinai Organics brand example that I told you. So if you are innately believing in something and you have started a brand for that purpose and not just solely for the purpose of revenue or things like that, then the way the brand goes is very, very different. And the value system doesn't change, it will always stay. So that is something that I truly believe. And one more thing that I want to probably add is, see, personally, that's something that one keyword that I've taken for myself is determination. So I am very, very determined, and I want to do certain things, and I know I will do, because I really believe in myself that I can do it. Right. So a lot of people believe in you. A lot of things might happen around you. Things might go as planned. Things might not go as planned. All of that will happen. It's not like everybody will get everything right first time. Right. But then if you are very determined and you want to do what you want to do, then you will definitely get it done. So there is like no plan B. That, because only if you are very doubtful about something that you're doing, you might be thinking, okay, whether it'll work, it'll not work, and things like that. But if you are very determined and you know this is what I want and I'll definitely get it done, there will be ways for how that will work out. So just if you are focusing on something, just be focused. Don't worry, things will fall in place and it will take you to the right direction. Is something that I very, very strongly believe.
I completely agreed. Felt like you told this to me. So thank you so much for that. I really enjoyed the conversation today. Right, like we talked about, for me specifically, corporate gifting side. I know very little. It gave me an idea that how you function, how this industry also looks like, and I mean, like I've always been in the receiver side of it. Like you said, like I've received gifts for Diwali, onboarding kits, welcome kits, and stuff like that. But someone, like you said, translating your value into business, making a business out of it, trying to get in tech so that you can bring efficiency, scalability, and all of that. And also as a founder, sharing the human values, not just to other founders, but also like people like me, people like everyone else out there who are working. This is one such amazing conversation I had to start my day. I was like sleepy when I started because I woke up late, but I'm like all pumped. Get ready. Probably after this, I'll hit gym and then the put on this Arjuna Reveille song and then like work out very intense. So thank you so much for this conversation and your time today, Janani.
And thank you so much for having me, Varu. I think this didn't feel like a podcast or anything like that. It just was a very free flowing conversation, is what I felt. Because initially I asked you, right, whether we might have to edit things, but I think we just had a flow of conversation. I think there's no need of edit itself, I guess, right? So yeah, it was really very, very interesting. The kind of questions. See, a lot of times what I enjoy most about these kind of conversation is it kinds of helps me reflect back on everything that we have done so far. Sometimes when you talk it out, telling, oh, okay, நம்ம இவ்வளோலாம் பண்ணிருக்கோமா அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு, sometimes it gives that feel, right? And as you said, it gives the same energy back to you and gives you that boost to do a lot more things also. So yeah, I truly enjoyed having this conversation. And yeah, once we have the tech ready, I think we will have one more round of podcast and talk
Absolutely.
more about that.
Absolutely. And thank you so much once again. And have an amazing day, Janani, and all the best to Mystique. I really love what you do about with Mystique, and you as a person as well. You're turning out to be a great inspiration for not just people like me, but so many other women out there. You're helping those women's dream to get into, like take shape with the commerce aspect of it. Long live your values, and long live Mystique.
Thank you so much, and all the best for everything that you do too.
Thank you.